Strobe Studios presents Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger in The Watson Files. Coming to you from the illustrious Strobe Studios in the heart of America, this is Craig Dahlen. And now, let's join the doctor and see what story he has for us today.
Come in.
Good evening, doctor.
Hello, Craig. How was your week?
It was good, but a little bit crazy.
Busy, huh?
Always.
Well, it's funny you should mention crazy, because our story tonight begins in a mental ward at the local hospital.
Is the subject of this story a patient or staff?
A patient, actually. He hired Holmes to help improve his sanity.
And Holmes actually took the job?
He found it curious, I think.
A good challenge, hey?
Yes, and this particular client happened to also be incredibly wealthy.
Ah, I see.
So, as I mentioned, Holmes had received a call from a psychiatric patient. His name was Roger Campbell, and he was a guest over at Holy Cross Medical Center on a 48-hour hold. As he often does with his medical cases, Holmes asked me to tag along.
So, Mr. Campbell, what can we do for you?
You can get me out of here, for starters.
Mr. Campbell, I'm not sure I'm the right person
Please, they're trying to get me.
Who is?
Jason and Ernesto.
Are they patients here?
No, they're my driver and my gardener.
And they're trying to get you?
Yes, that's why I'm in here. They conspired against me.
And why would they do that?
Well, isn't it obvious? To get my money, of course.
Aha. And you know this how?
Because they signed the affidavits that convinced the judge to put me in this loony bin.
Well, if a judge put you on a hold, I'm not sure there's anything I can do.
He's right, Mr. Campbell. If you're on a 48-hour hold, then you have to wait for the hearing.
But that's not until Wednesday.
I think your math may be a bit off on that one.
No, Holmes. Actually, he's right.
But today is only Saturday.
Yes, well, the 48 hours is actually 2 business days to allow time for the psychiatrist to evaluate the patient. Since he was admitted late on a Friday, that leaves Monday and Tuesday for evaluation, and the hearing happens on Wednesday.
So a 48-hour hold lasts 5 days?
In this case, I'm afraid so.
Don't you see? That gives those scoundrels plenty of time to rob me blind.
Perhaps. And why are you getting suspicious?
Well, for one, they watch me sleep.
I'm sorry?
What, are you hard of hearing? I said they watch me when I'm sleeping. They stand in the doorway and stare at me. They think I'm asleep, but I've always got my eye on them.
I see. They just stand in the doorway and stare at you?
Yeah, but only one at a time, of course.
Right, because both of them would just be weird.
And I think they might be poisoning me, too.
Poisoning you?
You know, for a couple of detectives, you sure don't know how to listen very well.
I apologize, sir. Please continue.
They were slipping something into my drink at bedtime. I noticed it tasted funny lately. Now that I think about it, the mashed potatoes had a strange taste about them on Thursday. I bet Hilda, my cook, is in on it too.
What about during the day? Have they been keeping up with their duties?
That's the other thing. They've been too nice to me.
Too nice.
You're always saying hello and working hard. It's downright conspiratorial.
Yes, it is.
And if that ain't enough, I haven't had a single complaint all week. I mean, can you imagine?
How terrible!
So what do you think, Mr. Holmes? Will you take my case?
I'll tell you what I can do, Mr. Campbell. I will check on your house and look into Jason and Ernesto. If something is amiss, I'll find it.
And what about getting me out of here?
Well, one thing at a time, okay?
Well, I'll have to take what I can get, I guess.
We'll be in touch.
You mark my words, Mr. Holmes. They're all out to get me.
Good day, Mr. Campbell.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you. A conspiracy.
Well, I can tell you how his hearing is going to go on Wednesday.
He is a bit eccentric, I'll give you that.
Eccentric? He's clearly delusional.
Now, Watson, you know better than to jump to conclusions. Just because he's a psychiatric patient doesn't mean he's wrong. If this were a normal client who showed up at my door, you'd be seriously considering his claims.
First of all, he's not a normal client. And second, if he'd showed up at my door, I'd probably sign an affidavit myself. I've put some serious thought into signing one for you a time or two as well. But then I'd have to come visit you, and the hospital's a bit out of my way.
So anyway, your professional assessment is that he's crazy?
Well, to be fair, I am no psychiatrist, but come on, Holmes. Do you really think his driver and his gardener are conspiring with the cook to poison him, and then they stand in the doorway at night watching him sleep? All the while being overly nice to him and trying to be good at their jobs?
I admit it seems a little far-fetched.
Far-fetched?
I think, Watson, that perhaps we should head over to the house anyway, just to have a look.
Whatever you say. Can I help you, senor?
You are Ernesto.
Si, and who are you?
My name is Adrian Monk, and this is my associate Jack Kevorkian.
Good to meet you.
We are supposed to be meeting with Roger this afternoon. Is he available?
Oh, I'm sorry, but he are called away on another matter.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. I was really looking forward to that tour.
Tour, senor?
I'm a friend of Roger's from back in prep school, and we're only in town for the weekend. I was hoping for a tour of the grounds.
Well, I suppose Jason could probably... Jason? He's Mr. Campbell's driver, right? No, senor. I am his driver. Jason is the gardener. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I just assumed... well, never mind. Jason knows the grounds better than I. Let me go see if he is available.
Thank you.
Si, senor.
So, Mr. Campbell was supposed to give you a tour this afternoon.
Yes, that was the plan.
And you are his gardener?
Yes, and I take care of the artwork in the house, especially during the winter.
Sort of the curator of the Campbell Museum.
Sure, something like that.
Well, he always was a big art lover.
Yes, he's amassed quite a collection, and I feel honored to have been a part of it.
So, where did you say Roger was this afternoon?
I didn't, actually.
Wow, that's a lot of paintings.
Yup, he's practically addicted to art auctions.
An expensive hobby.
Yes and no. Most of these aren't exceptionally valuable. No Picassos or Monets. Mr. Campbell's specialty is masterful works from unknown artists. Many of these are one-hit wonders, if you will.
Which makes this a very unique collection, then.
Indeed.
So, Jason, not to be rude, but how exactly does a gardener end up tending to such a large collection of paintings?
Well, I'm not just a gardener. I actually went to school for art, so I have a bit of knowledge in the field.
Ah, where did you go?
The Art Institute of Chicago.
A fine school.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, I think things seem to be all right here, Watson, wouldn't you say?
Yes, Holmes, it hardly looks like they're robbing him blind.
I'm sorry?
I'm afraid we have a confession to make. Our names are not Adrian Monk and Jack Kevorkian. I'm Spencer Holmes, and this is my associate, Dr. Jack Watson.
We were hired by Mr. Campbell.
What is it this time? We're planning to burn down the house? Maybe Hilda's poisoning him again?
Something like that.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm afraid Mr. Campbell is sick and has been for some time. This isn't the first time we've had to get him help.
It's a struggle that many people have.
Well, as you can see, this place is in good hands. Mr. Campbell pays us quite well, and we have no reason to put our jobs in danger.
Well, that's good to hear.
We'll let you get back to your work here then.
Thank you.
You know, we had a case not too long ago involving the theft of a painting.
Really?
Yes, at the museum across town.
It was a Botticelli, actually, so not one that Roger would be interested in, of course.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Was some criminal mastermind professor or something, right?
Yes, Professor Marty.
And from what I heard, the guy mailed it to himself from the museum. That's just crazy.
We were able to recover the painting, but unfortunately he managed to slip our grasp.
For now.
Very clever, but pretty daring.
It is unique.
Well, I appreciate you taking care of Mr. Campbell, and feel free to stop by any time.
Thank you again. Well, it's not looking good for Mr. Campbell's hearing on Wednesday. Perhaps he really is where he needs to be.
Perhaps.
Who you gonna call?
Well, the Ghostbusters, of course.
I suppose I walked right into that one. Good one, Holmes.
You really should be more careful, Watson.
Weathers.
Max, how's it going?
Fine. What's up, Spencer?
Are you busy tonight?
Well, I was planning to get caught up on some paperwork.
Good, so you're free. I need you to meet me around sundown so we can catch an art thief.
Holmes, what are you up to now?
Just meet me out at the Campbell Mansion at sundown. I'll explain everything then.
Holmes, you better not have dragged me out here for nothing.
Just be a little patient, Max.
Yeah, well, about 4 hours of patience is all I can muster for this evening, I'm afraid. Let me know if you see anything.
Wait! What's that over there?
I knew I should have left 10 minutes ago.
That looks like Jason.
Indeed, and that large tube he's carrying would be perfect for a stolen painting.
Yes, I think so.
Follow him, Watson.
Look, Holmes, even if he does have a painting in there, how do we know he isn't taking it for some sort of restoration? I mean, he's in charge of the artwork, right?
I suspect we'll know soon enough.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so for your sake. I had half a mind to leave as soon as you told me you had been hired by a mental patient.
And I'm not convinced about that aspect of the case yet either.
But that part will be up to the judge on Wednesday.
Indeed.
So where do you think he's going, Holmes?
I would venture a guess that we will end up on the north side of town, most likely under the Elm Street Bridge.
Well, we are heading that direction.
And how could you possibly know that?
Well, when we talked to him at the house this morning, I admit I was initially convinced that everything was on the up and up. But then when I mentioned the art theft at the museum last summer, things took a change.
The one with the janitor?
Right. Well, Jason seemed to know all about it.
Well, he's an art guy, so it's not unusual that he'd be interested in that case.
Right, but he was rather impressed with the clever way the janitor got the painting out of the building.
You told him? I thought we weren't releasing that information.
No, we didn't tell him.
Then how'd he know?
Exactly.
He's turning onto Elm, and it looks like he's stopping.
But not on the bridge.
Close enough. You're gonna like this next part, Weathers.
Is that the janitor?
Indeed.
I thought I arrested him.
Yes, and he was released on probation on Tuesday.
Well, it looks like we've got probable cause for an arrest. Let's go. So all of my paintings are fakes?
No, Jason and Ernesto just replaced them with fakes.
That's why they were watching you sleep. One of them was acting as lookout while the other swapped out the paintings with the forgeries.
But you've recovered the originals.
Yes, we caught Jason attempting to sell them to a known art thief.
I knew they were out to get me, but at least now they'll let me out of this place, right?
Well, actually...
I'm afraid there's not much we can do about that, Mr. Campbell. Once the judge signs the hold, our hands are tied.
But you can rest assured that your valuables are safe and will be waiting for you when you return.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Campbell, I'm glad we were able to assist you, even if it isn't exactly the way you were hoping.
That's all right. I don't mind it in here so much. They have great fried bologna sandwiches. They have great Jell-O, but I do have another job for you.
Is someone else out to get you?
No, this one's actually for a friend.
A friend?
Yeah, you see the skinny guy in the dark hair over there in the corner?
Yes.
Doesn't he look a little familiar?
No.
I admit I am also at a loss.
It's John Kennedy!
John Kennedy. You mean like the president?
Yes, the government's keeping him locked up here so that the truth can't get out.
Okay, I think we're done here.
Yep, good day, Mr. Campbell.
But wait, don't you see? It's all plastic surgery, so you won't recognize him.
So he really was crazy after all.
As a soup sandwich.
But he was right about the driver and the gardener.
Well, as they say, just because you're paranoid, that doesn't mean people aren't out to get you.
Yes, I suppose that's true. So what story are you going to be telling us about next week, Doctor?
Next week, Officer Weathers is going to stop by, and he's going to tell you a story about an old case that he's long had some trouble solving.
Sounds fantastic. I'll see you then. Tonight's Watson Files adventure was written by Scott Strosahl. Spencer Holmes and Dr. Watson were played by Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger. Additional voices were provided by Steve Rimpici. Until next week, this is Craig Dahlen saying good night from Strobe Studios.
Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters?
No, you didn't let him do it.
Oh, is there really?
You walked over his joke.
Oh, so it purposely is who you going to call. Okay, I just saw that.
Because he's dialing the phone.
His name was Roger Campbell, and he was a guest over at Holly Cross.
It's a Christmas hospital.
That's right. Hush tone. Wait, I can't talk in a hush tone. I'm Watson.
And why are you getting suspicious?
Well, for one, they watch me sleep.
He's crazy.
I see.
Si, senor.
Best Spanish.
No problemo. I'll be right back. Crazy white man. Don't put that anywhere.
Maybe at the end.
No, don't even put it at the end.
That's what you get.
You have to be careful what you say in front of a microphone.
That's the phrase I hear. We're called